Welcome, Field Home Farm Sessions, episode 270 on November 20th, 2025. I just looking at my daughter was wearing her Shark Fest sweater that Dirty Mike and his wife promote. Oh, stop it, computers. Promote for me to buy for my daughter. Well, when they made the finals, I said, I'm going to buy you a shirt, a hoodie. And I looked at it this morning. I said, you know what the worst part about that sweater is? And my wife gets this negative all of a sudden. I said, just hold on. I said, it does not have the date on it. And then she goes, you're right, it doesn't. I said, well, the only advantage of that is you can wear it next year. But you'd think you'd have, so then we don't have to buy one next year, Dirty Mike. See, so unless my daughter grows like a foot, which I hope she does, in a way. Plumber Scott, are you coming today? Don't come today. I'm doing corn. Well, whatever. We'll figure it out. I was going to talk about Lobby Day. I don't know. Leafs suck. I don't really have to talk much about that. T.O. Toronto getting corn done and feed line problems. I guess the last time I talked to you was on Monday, and I went to Queen's Park. Next Wednesday morning, Plumber Scott, is it? It's going to freeze soon, and we're going to be SOL. The biggest thorn in my side nowadays is these 4-H calves and getting them home. And I don't know. I think I'm going to leave early this Sunday morning, and just get them home. Leave 4 o'clock in the morning. And like I said, Yarker. Let's see what Yarker. I don't know exactly. I went there once, and it was just to pick up the calves, and it's in butt F nowhere. Let's see, Yarker, Ontario. Yarker. Oh, baby. 2 hours and 49 minutes. Wouldn't it be lovely if I was getting a per diem for that? Because that's 294 kilometers, 300 kilometers one way. So that's why it's a thorn in my side. If Brienne gets me some good calves next year, it'd be pretty hard to not get the calves somewhere there. But at the same time, 10 degrees tomorrow. You know what the problem with 10 degrees tomorrow is? My cornfield is going to be a little bit sloppy, and I don't even have that down as much as I should. Corn. I don't know if Maggie May at the Beaton Elevator listens, but there's a bunch of people from Ontario that listen, and I wish, you guys should write into Podbean, I wish that they would tell me who listens. Because I know Plumber Scott listens, I know the live listeners, and I know when my BC girl listens, because she's probably the only one that listens in BC, so it's pretty easy to figure that out. But it doesn't tell me, it just tells me who in Ontario listens, or who in BC, how many people listen. It doesn't tell me who. So if Maggie May is listening from the Beaton Co-op Elevator, I'd like to thank her very much. Yesterday, she took a load of corn, and I have been negatively harping on her lately because her elevator has been full the last week, and I'm only getting one load of corn a day. Well, when I have a field with 20 loads of corn in it, you know what that means. That means you're 20 days, and I don't want to be 20 days in my corn. So anyways, yesterday, I think it's a combo of my niceness, but probably more of Roger's niceness, my trucker. She said, yes, bring one load in, but that is it. And I said, okay, thank you. I don't know if I thanked her. I got to thank her again, but so he dumped a load of corn, and then and I filled it up again, and he took it today, and it's there again ready. But there's a little bit of frost this morning on the corn, so you got to wait till that dries out a bit. You need a bit of sun, so probably not start till noon around there. 11. We might push 11:30. We'll see something like that. And I don't want to cut up my John Deere, but my 2012. I know it gets a bit of problems, but the PTO. So the dump buggy's loaded to the tits because it's a big tractor, and loaded above the head. That'd be better. That is an old saying. So I go to unload it, and the PTO you push the switch, it doesn't even start at all. And this is not the first time it's done it, but mechanic Sean fixed it, and it's been going for a while. I did probably 5 loads yesterday, and it was perfect. My son's with me helping. He drives, like I said before, Oh, Emmett, how are you? He drives the dump buggy to near the truck and trailer, and then I go and load it. So we get pulled up, and the PTO doesn't go. So I had to go trade John Deere tractors and use my loader tractor, which is probably 80 horsepower less, so not as powerful, not as high. Your neck is sore when you're looking up trying to figure it out. Yes, I need a camera on it, but whatever. And so yes, PTO. So I'm gonna have to put that in retirement for a way because luckily I got it unloaded and everything went okay. But it was a later night than I wanted to. But so Monday drove down to Toronto again. I know I was down there for the Royal and Emmett was down there and everybody else, but drove down there again. We had our lobby day for Queen's Park, so I get down there, and we actually had a board meeting before, like I said, the last episode. So we got that. It was only a half-hour board meeting. Did some stuff. You have to make a decision, finalize it. We're all together, so you might as well. And then took a break and had a DC. Well, what I shouldn't say a DCR meeting, but just a meeting of all the people who are that are going to be speaking with the MPPs the next day. What to say, what the political landscape is, different topics. Our biggest ask is to support supply management. Yes, Emmett, we even dairy's in there. We don't throw anybody under the bus. When we say supply management, it's every supply management: the turkeys, the dairy, the broiler chicken, and the hatching eggs. So we just say support supply management. I said if you could, you write a letter to your MP and just tell them how important supply management is for the communities in Ontario. And there's 330 chicken farmers in different communities around Ontario that support all those communities with plumbers, Plumber Scott, electricians, builders, supplies, home hardware, like anything that you need for your chicken barn and dairy. But I'm not going to go into dairy, Emma, today. So anything you need for your chicken barn, aggregates, just and then from that you spend money in your community too on hockey and restaurants, and just if you see where I'm going, all those businesses in the communities are supporting other businesses in the communities, which make the community strong. And if you do not have supply management and you take off the tariffs for dairy and chicken and everything else, and the United States or whoever is allowed to flood our market with whatever product, like I say, chicken, and we're not gonna chicken farm when all our expenses are as high as they are, and we need to make a profit. So you bring in cheaper chicken from other places, and they're tariff down, or sorry, they get subsidies down there that make their chicken cheaper to sell, but the farmers are getting the same, and then they dump it in here. You're taking away all those businesses in the communities. I know it's long-winded, but that is my opinion of that. So supply management's good, and there's always an argument. So beef farmers, pig farmers, sheep farmers don't have it, and they can do whatever they want. But they can ship whatever they want, but there's not a market for it all the time. Right now, it's pretty good, but at lots of times during the life cycle, it's not that good, and smaller farms have sold out, and it just wasn't worth it because it wasn't worth the money or the time. So we need to keep supply management. We need to keep it in Ontario, especially because that's where I live, and in Canada to support all the farmers. What is there? 2,800 farmers, broiler chicken farmers in Ontario, roughly, and that support all communities in that area. So if it's something worth fighting for, we got to keep it going, right? Plumber Scott. I was just thinking of. Have you bought a new truck lately? Are you keeping the old girl? I don't know. So getting down to Toronto wasn't too bad on the Monday afternoon. Getting out of Toronto on yesterday morning was a little bit more challenging. It wasn't awful, but I don't understand. It's 6 a.m. going north from Toronto. How thick the traffic is. Like, I mean, it was literally at, I think it was 6:15 I left Toronto, and traffic was steady. Like, it was not by any means like a jam, but just steady. Like, the amount of traffic in Toronto is insane at 5:45 in the morning. You think the traffic would be coming a little bit slower coming into the city, but it was just as busy going out as it was in. So I don't know how many people live in the city and go out of this. It's you know what I'm saying. So Hubie Jen, Evie is smart, not liking the city and just staying in the country. But it is good to get into the city once in a while, and it is good to get out of the city. So On that respect, the reason I came home a little bit earlier was I was supposed to have breakfast with a couple of DCRs, and I didn't have. I could not wasn't able to do that because of the fact that my chicken barn was not acting friendly, and my wife was not happy. And kudos to her and all the accolades in the world. She could not find my dust mask. It was in, anyways. There was a whole thing. It worked out in the end. We're still married, but sometimes it can put a strain on it. So I'm at the chicken meeting in at I think it was lunch or just after lunch, and the one of the chicken lines is not working, and chickens aren't eating, and alarms are going off in the barn. Thankfully, not for power or anything like that. Just a couple. They weren't like going to die or anything. But Dr. Ethan, there you go. I don't know if you're a doctor. You can name whatever you want on here, but I don't know many doctors that listen to me. But thanks for listening. Maybe a doctor, a vet, but so, anyways, she was very excited, let's put it that way, on the phone. And I was very calm because I was around a lot of people. I kind of stepped out. You're in Queen's Park in my suit. I don't want to get agitated. I'm trying to tell her trying to explain to her how it could be fixed, or it could be this, or it could be that. And she was upset that I should train her for that specific thing. And I said, well, in my 12 years of having the chicken barn, that particular problem never happened. So I can't train you for a problem that never has happened before. So she got it fixed ish. And then I came home and I really got it fixed, and it should not happen again. But the problem with anything animals, of any machines and stuff like that, stuff can happen at any time. So I'm used to it. I'm a mechanical guy. So is Plumber Scott. So is, oh, hello. I'm sorry. You can't, I don't even know who you are. You can't call and invite you as a speaker if I don't know who you are, but you haven't told me who you are. So anyway, she got it fixed. Everything's good. Chickens are healthy. Chickens are happy. So we met with our MPP. The next day, we met with our MPPs. So we split off in groups. I forget how many exactly. So we have staff. We have enterprise, which is a lobbying group, helps with political stuff. We have our DCRs, district committee representatives, and we have our directors, and we have the Chicken Farmers of Ontario staff. So everyone splits up into 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 people, and you go meet with MPPs. You send out a letter and see who will meet with us, and different MPPs with the first one. And what really happens sometimes is the MPP will get called into another meeting. So we were supposed to have a meeting at 8:30 on the Tuesday morning. It got bumped up to 8 o'clock. Next thing you know, it's 8:15. Next thing you know, he didn't show up. So we met with a couple of staff people. And the thing about the staff is they're just as important as the MPP, because they will relay a message back, and they might have a higher up job in the Queen's Park eventually. So you always want to treat people with respect anyways. But at the same time, oh, Dr. Ethan left. He wanted to enter my studio and he left. See, he didn't want to text me anything. I don't even know who Dr. Ethan was. He's probably just a activist of some kind. Who knows? Emmett and Plumber Scott are still listening, but where's KJ? Where's Mystery today? I got a funny story about Mystery in a little bit, but hold on. Unedited water break. Where was I? Oh, so we met with our MPPs. First guy didn't show up, had another meeting, and then we met with Bobby Ann Brady. She's an MPP down near Haldimand Hank, and she's an independent. So she worked for another campaign. I think she worked for the Conservative campaign MPP at one time, long time ago. Went on her own, very much in touch with the people, very much in touch with not wasting money. Also, and not say anti-development, but smart development. She doesn't want mass production and wreck farmland, which anybody on my podcast would agree with. And I also mentioned that to one MPP. I said, when the government mentions affordable housing, that's lovely, but at the same time, what it means to me also is taking away farmland, and I don't like that. So and then they say, well, what's your theory? I said, well, build up, not out would be better. I mean, little small towns like Bond Head, like that, when they developed that on the north side, you weren't using it much for farming anyway. So that's lovely. Build 100 houses there. That's fine. But from Bradford. I said Bradford is some of the best land in Ontario. I love when somebody else says it's the best land in Ontario. I said, have you been to Bradford? Because it's pretty freaking good land. But what do they want to do? They want to rip that up too. So yeah, it's a balancing act between you got to keep the developers happy, you got to keep the housing people happy, but at the same time, when you take away farmland, you're not getting that farmland back. So there is farmland in Ontario that's not great. Build on there. You could build on Rockwood, couldn't you, Emmett? It's not the best. It's not always the best land in the world in Rockland. So who knows? But build up, build up, not out, and then see what happens. So. And I think they need some more public transport too. KJ is on. KJ just hit the studio. KJ, I miss you because we had the Royal. It was lovely. And now we don't get to see each other for a long time. But you can listen to my voice on here and you can text me anytime. So I was just talking about going down to Toronto to Queen's Park and meeting with all the MPPs. I put a couple pictures on Instagram, Field Home Poultry, and if you want to see me decked out in a nice suit, bought a nice suit for the. I know you wear your suit, you wear your suit, you wear your suit, and you need to buy a new suit once in a while. So I did that. If you want to check out my Instagram, check out my Facebook, check out Twitter. I don't know, running behind on some. I'm not on. I'm on Twitter, but I'm not like on Twitter. I don't put very much on Twitter, so. We met with the MPPs, and one of the biggest things we have is a chicken wing reception at the end. Oh, sorry, one of the second biggest thing. One of the biggest thing is we meet with Doug Ford, and he always tells us how much he likes chicken, and whatever you think of him or what, not good or bad, he is a hardworking premier. I know he's a hardworking. Does he do everything that everybody likes? No. Mystery's on too. Holy crap, we got everybody today. How come when all these people come on? And Plumber Scott was the first one on. They bumped Plumber Scott down to the bottom. I don't know. Plumber Scott, you get no respect from Podbean at all. So, where's Roscoe lately, Mister? Roscoe hasn't been on my podcast for a very, very long time. So, anyways, we met with Dougie Ford, and there should be a picture. I might put a picture on one day if they get it back. Hardworking premier. He loves to eat chicken. Of course, he loves to eat chicken. Eats chicken every day, he says, but. Good office, and there's always something online about what he comes into the. So we went to question period. We sit up in the stands like anybody else. I think anybody can go into question period, and sometimes the MPPs and stuff act like school kids and they yell back and forth. But at the same time, they do get stuff done and policies and whatnot for our province is what they're to do. And but Dougie always comes in and strolls in and has something to say and then strolls out. But so we met with him, and then an afternoon of just meeting with different people. Like I say, some people cancel, some people don't. If you've never been to Queen's Park, I suggest getting down there. It's pretty good. So everybody has a lobby day. I think at the same time, I think the Pig Farmers of Ontario and the fruit and vegetable growers of Ontario were in there at the same time. And the pig farmers had a lunch, and the fruit and vegetable people had a dinner as well. But they could not top the chicken wing reception that we had at night. I think we had over 2,500 wings, amazing chicken wings, and every premier has a different sauce, and then at the end you pick out who has the best sauce. It's kind of a funny thing and whatnot, but gets people talking, gets people socializing, and a great time and a great lobbying day for Chicken Farmers of Ontario. Mystery, and I won't get into Mystery. We and Mystery had a good conversation yesterday. When I was in the combine. I was telling them all about Queen's Park, and you can text KJ and Emmett all about it. I'm not going to do it online, but one of the MPPs knows you very well, knows me very well, and had a lot of things to say that don't leave the office. How's that sound? Just funny stuff. So standing there at the chicken wing reception after, I know Mr. And none of these relates to what I just said, but Mr. Mike Harris was there. He's the MPP for Waterloo. And then Paul Vickers came along, dairy farmer from the Meaford area. Very much a dairy farmer, down to earth. It's pretty cool. Doug Downey, who is, I think he's a policy advisor for the government of Ontario. I don't know what you say, legislature of Ontario. I got to get that right for all my educated listeners out there. Plumber Scott, what are you doing today? I just keep looking here at the bottom. Are you working in the fire hall or are you working plumbing? I don't know. Oh, mystery, you know who I meant. Pat Sarkody is in. How are you? Thanks for listening. I was just talking about my chicken lobby dad MPP. So, anyways, Mike Harris, Paul Vickers, Doug Downey, who knows I think he got a wedding picture on my farm because he was friends with the previous owner's son. So, just all those connections together. And the former ag minister, Miss Lisa Thompson, who was a junior farmer back in the day with a few of us. And now she lives in the Bruce County. And, just a great personable person, just awesome to talk to. And you're talking to Lisa. A lot of other people come over, a lot of other MPPs come over and talk, and it's pretty good. So it was a great night. And the Bruce County is having a plowing match next year, which should be pretty good and whatnot. And I asked Mike Harris, I'll touch into another. Autumn L will love this today, over 20 minutes. She can listen for 20 minutes. KJ, get Autumn L listening. So Mike Harris is a big Leafs fan, and I said to Mike, I said, "There's a game tonight. Are you going? Because you usually go." He says, "Oh," he goes, "the Leafs suck." And this is a Leafs fan. He goes, "Usually I go, but he says I have a lot of stuff going on right now. I think he's the natural resources minister or something like that. I'd have to look it up exactly. I don't want to misquote it, but he has a lot going on. But he says usually I would, but the Leafs suck so bad. And oddly enough, they did win that night. So it so it was great seeing everyone. It was great talking to everyone. That was the busiest couple weeks, busiest at the Royal. Like I said, next year I'm going to tone it down a bit, not work that much. Not volunteer for the chicken booth as much. Lobby day at Queen's Park. I was supposed to go to a meeting tonight, but I said to my director, I said, can I just tap out because it's a little bit too much? And then I have the OFA meeting next week. Now, I don't know if KJ, do you go to the OFA meeting? If you do, we will see each other. Let me see. Where's there you go. He's fine. Slacker, come on. KJ, you're not going to the OFA meeting? I had to scroll down to see it. I wanted to see. You should. 4-H should make a appearance at the 4-H or at the OFA meeting. So got the OFA meeting. We got a board meeting next week. There's a farm and food care event. My chickens go out eventually and get the corn done and get some fall tillage done and whatnot. Oh, Pat, you're saying bye. What happened? I don't entertain you? Do I not entertain you enough? Anyways, not mad at all. Thanks for listening, everybody. Shout outs to Dirty Mike. Thailand Kevin is going crazy on the memes lately. Thailand Kevin, relax. Thanks for listening, everybody. And thanks for listening all the way through, Plumber Scott. You are the best. I don't know who you are, Pat. I don't know. Thanks for listening, though. Awesome, awesome, awesome.